Hey everybody, today I want to share with you an idea about how to think about money. And so when I think about how to handle our money, I think about three specific areas. I think about an emotional component, I think about a spiritual component, and I think about a practical component. Let me break that down and share with you what I mean. I think that every single one of us can have a way that we think about money that goes all the way back to our family of origin and how we experience money when we were kids. So for example, if your parents had a scarcity mindset and they didn't like to spend money, then at some level as an adult, you probably feel some discomfort as you think about spending money as well. Specifically, when you think about like an appliance or maybe even a car or even a larger purchase like a home, you just feel some discomfort with that. And all that can be traced back to how you experience money as a child. And then on the other end of that spectrum, if you grew up in a household where your parents like to use credit cards or they had a lot of debt, then at some level as an adult, you probably feel comfortable using credit cards and having some debt. And so what we want to do is when we think about all of these different areas of money management, we want to think about the emotional component, and then we also want to think about the spiritual component. The spiritual component is simply this, that did you know that in the Bible, there are over 2,300 references to money? I just believe that if God has that much to say about something, we should pay attention to it. And I've also learned over the last few years that if I manage money God's way, I end up in a lot better place than if I manage money my own way. And so that's the spiritual component. And then finally, there's this practical component. In other words, if you don't have a budget, you need one. And if you're carrying around a whole bunch of debt, you need to get out of that debt and learn a new way to manage your money. You might need to learn something new. A lot of times that will take some effort. A lot of times that will take attendance in a class or something like that, but we got to get our arms wrapped around how to manage our money in a better way. And what I've experienced over the last few years is that some people will actually skip over the emotional component, they'll skip over even the spiritual component, and they'll jump straight to the practical. In other words, they'll read a book or they'll listen to a podcast or a friend will give them some advice about how to handle money and they'll begin to immediately make changes. And while that can be really good, here's what you have to think about, that if you have a problem abusing credit cards that can be traced all the way back to your childhood, then just having a budget in place is not going to be really helpful to you in the long run. So we have to look at all three of these areas. And so today I just want to ask you to take a minute and consider how you think about some questions that I'm going to leave you with. And so the first question is this: how do you feel about spending money or saving money? What are the feelings that come attached when you either put money in the bank or you actually make a purchase? What do you feel with that? Do you really know what the Bible says about money? And even if you do you believe it or do you believe your way is better? So what does the Bible say about money? And then finally, is it time to sign up for a biblical finance class and learn a new way to handle how you manage the resources that have been trusted to you? And so there's a worksheet that we're going to attach to this video, and we've titled it Discovering Your Emotional Types. That'll just help you get started as you begin to investigate all three of these areas in your life. But again, we want to be healthy in these three very specific areas. We want to know what our thoughts are about money and where those thoughts came from, how we feel about it. We want to know what the Bible says about how to handle our money. And then we want some practical ways that we can live a better life as it comes to how we handle the resources that God places in our care. So I hope this has been helpful to you today. Thanks for watching, and we'll see you later.